Hi, welcome to the lesson on writing functions as equations. So I would like to begin this lesson by defining what a function rule is. Now, a function rule is an equation that describes the relationship between x values, or your input, or known as independent variable, and y values, which is your output, or known as your dependent variable. So here we have a function rule that's in the form of an equation, and it's read as y equals 5 times x. All right, so we have x variable and we have our y variable. So remember, your x values is your input, your y values is your output. All right, so we can determine what this function rule is when we plug in the correct numbers. All right, so we have y, which is -20, but in other words, we wouldn't even have known that if we didn't have this here, because with x being independent, that means we won't know what y is unless we know what x is. That's why y is dependent upon your x values. All right, so y equals 5 times your input is -4. Okay, or you can just simply say -20, because we already see what y is because it's given here on this example of this function machine. So we have -20 equals 5 times -4. So like I said, your input is -4, whereas your output is -20. Alright, so let's go over something else a little bit different. We can also write function rules using words. So for example, let's say you're given something like the output is 5 times the input. So that's written as that, like this. The output is 5 times the input. Okay, so how would you write this as an equation? So the first thing you need to do is go ahead and just seek out what your keywords are by highlighting or underlining. So we have output, we have is, which is equals, we have 5 times input. Okay, so first things first, we know that output is y. So let's go ahead and write that in. So we have y is equals 5 times the input. So we know the input is x, right? So that's just 5 times x. Okay, so that's fair enough, easy enough. So the equation is y equals 5 times x, for the output is 5 times the input. And if you need to just maybe refresh your memory as far as how to interpret verbal phrases, then please go ahead and view my previous lessons on verbal phrases. All right, so let's go ahead and write a function rule for the output is 3 more than the input. Okay, so let's write that in here. Okay, so here we have this verbal phrase: the output is 3 more than the inputs. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight our keywords. So we have output, we have is, we have 3 more than, and we also have input. All right, so be very, very, very careful with this particular statement, and the reason why is because we have more than. So more than is what I consider the more than switch, meaning that we have to switch the variable and the number. All right, so let's go ahead and work this out first. So we have output is y equals, this is 3 more than. So 3 will go here. Input is your x. So see what I mean? So instead of writing y equals 3 plus x, you would always write y equals x plus 3, okay? And the reason why I'm doing that for addition, because I know you're probably saying, well, why can't I do that for addition since addition is commutative? The reason why is because when you're using subtraction, it changes things. So I always tell students to get into the habit of writing it for addition the same way as you would subtraction, okay? So that's all we have for this lesson. I hope it was helpful and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.